Hey everybody, welcome to Site Lap. I'm your host David Pingree here at Whiskey Throttle Media, joined by Bruce Murata, and we're going to look ahead at the San Francisco Supercross this weekend, give you guys a little bit of heads up on what we see. Maybe if you're playing Fantasy SX, then we'll give you a little bit of insight. So let's get into it, Bruce. Let's start with the weather, and it's not looking pretty. It's looking typical San Francisco. I hate that we have to go there this time of year because it rains so much.
Yeah, it does.
And the weather is not looking great. 55 degrees, 58% chance of rain on Saturday, but it's not just that. Rain on Tuesday, Wednesday. Thursday's partly sunny, Friday rain, Saturday rain, Sunday rain. Now, it's 58% chance. It's probably going to rain. It might not be a deluge. It might just be sprinkling here and there, but I'm hoping the Dirtworks guys are either pre-planning and getting this thing built Monday, try to get it covered up, finish it on Thursday, whatever. Try to make it the best they can. But at the end of the day, there's moisture coming. It's going to be soft. It's going to be ruddy and soft. Yeah. And probably one of those, not a typical Supercross, right?
Yeah.
So with that in mind, let's take a look at both of these classes. I mean, the dirt up there, typically anyway, they bring in a lot of road base. And Dirtworks does a great job of this, kind of planning for what's coming and figuring out the best possible solutions. They bring in like a gravelly road base that drains the water, and that's great. Keeps it from holding the water and it being sloppy, wet mud, but it'll be soft, it'll be rutted, right? That's what we're gonna have.
Yeah.
So plan on that. Now, when we're looking at the 250 class, you and I were chatting about our list of riders and the finish from Anaheim, and okay, what riders of those top 10 would excel in soft, wet, ruddy conditions? We're like, it's really the same top 5 guys.
It is. Yeah, and those top 5 guys are going to be, I feel like, all season around those top 5.
Yeah, as we were looking through the results in our riders meeting show, RJ Hampshire, Jordan Smith, Levi Kitchen, Joe Shimoda, and Maximus Voland, whether you put them in wet, hard, dry, doesn't matter. Those are really the class of the field. Those guys are going to fight for it. Now, could the order change up? Yes, I think it will. And I also think you'll see Thrasher thrown in there, as long as he's healthy, and he's an East Coast kid. So when we start talking about soft dirt, you got to put him into that equation too. But RJ Smith, they're from the South. They know sand, they know mud. It's not a big deal. They're good in it. Levi Kitchens from Washougal, from the Portland area. That's all it does is rain up there. He's going to be good in it. Joe Shimoda, he's great outdoors. He no problem with ruts. Max Voland, he probably would be the one guy I wouldn't be too sure about in soft, but he grew up in Northern Cal, so he's probably comfortable in it as well. And now you add Thrasher. Again, it's going to be these same 6 guys scrapping for the podium positions and wins, I think, every weekend on this West Coast swing.
Yeah. And for this, if it is a mud race, I think it's going to be the guy that obviously gets a good start, stays clean. Man, mud races are just so unpredictable.
I know they are. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So,
I think, honestly, any one of those guys, if they won, you'd go, yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, for Juju, I mean, he's still a rookie. He hasn't really done a mud Supercross race yet, but who knows? Maybe he'll surprise everyone.
He could. Now, the chatter is he's a little bit better in Supercross than he is outdoors, which would lead me to believe, growing up in the desert there in Havasu, there's not a lot of mud.
Yeah, that's true.
I would imagine ruts and muck and mud are not his specialty. Now, hey, maybe I'm wrong, but I would, if I had to wager a guess, I'd say next weekend's going to be an eye-opener for him.
Yeah.
Because ruddy Supercrosses or muddy, they suck. And they take a special skill. And I didn't have it ever. The ruts killed me.
Well, I know RJ and Jordan, they actually like riding in
They
the
love
mud.
it. I know.
They like it. So
I think their moms didn't give them enough hugs when they were kids or something. I think people that love the mud, they have a problem like that.
yeah.
But I think really that's what we're going to see. Those are the 6 guys. We're going to see those positions mix up. And maybe 1 or 2 will start to stand out. Maybe it's RJ and Smith, or maybe it's Shimoda. I think you're going to really see a mix of all those guys. I really do. I just can't see one guy dominating every single weekend, week after week. Can you?
It's gonna be tough.
Be very tough
in this class.
Yeah. Okay, so I think that's it. There's not a whole lot to predict there. What about Billy Laninovich? He was our 2005 San Francisco winner. He did not make the main at Anaheim, just missed it. He's going to make some adjustments this week. There was some suspension issues and gearing issues. Man, I got my fingers crossed. I don't know how he likes the mud, but he won up there in 05.
Yeah, so he's got good vibes coming into that place. And I think from Anaheim, definitely got all the, nerves and all the other stuff kind of out of the way. And he knows what changes he needs to make coming into this round. So it wouldn't surprise me if you see him making it in the heat.
Well, I don't think I'm the only one that's just pulling for him. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. I just want to see him in the
Hey, really quick though, you know what makes me laugh though is like some of these guys like Hampshire doesn't even know who Billy Lindenovich is.
I know. We were talking about. He's like, who is?
I'm like, RJ. He won San Francisco. Like he's like, yeah, I don't know. I wasn't into the sport when he was around. Yeah. I'm like, gosh dang.
You know what that means? We're getting old.
Yeah.
I mean, Billy's 40.
Yeah.
They probably don't know a 40-year-old guy, right?
But we're cheering for him. I believe he can do it.
Yeah, I do too. I'm stoked for him. All right, let's jump into the 450 class. And this is where it starts to get a little squirrely. And before we do this, I want to mention our show sponsors. Big thank you to Maxxis Tires and to Rock and Turf. These guys came on board to support us, and we really appreciate it. Maxxis.com or at Maxxis Tires on Instagram if you guys are looking at them. And Rock and Turf is at Rock and Turf or rock-turf.com if you want to check their stuff out. And obviously, Maxxis making a ton of motocross tires, off-road tires, and they make a really cool line of light-duty truck tires. So if you have a truck that you take your bike to the track in and you need some new meats, check those guys out. And then the Rock and Turf boys, obviously artificial grass and concrete work is their specialty. And they're making these really cool different fitted mats with a nice seam around the edge so they don't shred or fray. Mm-hmm. And great for changing into your gear, great for at the mat of your trailer or RV, all kinds of uses, all kinds of sizes, great stuff. So stoked to have those boys on board. Let's get into the 450 class because, again, you got to look at, okay, who's going to be good if it's mucky or rutted and soft? Well, Jet's good in everything, right? So you put Jet in that category. I think Jason Anderson's good in the ruts and mud. Put him in there. So is Chase Sexton. So our top three from last weekend, they're still players.
Yeah.
But let's look at who else may come up and fight for that podium spot. Obviously, Cooper Webb. Kid knows how to ride in the mud. Supercross champ a couple times over, which means he's done it in all conditions. And he's from the Carolinas, so he sees his share of soft dirt. Aaron Plessinger, though, he was fourth. AP loves the soft stuff.
Yeah, he rides really good in that sloppy stuff.
He's the only guy I've ever really seen get excited when it's raining. Like, not just go, yeah, no problem, I got it. He goes, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, man, come down, bring it down. I want a mud shower,
Can I tell you my pick?
Yeah.
Prado.
Oh, okay, I love it. So in our Riders Meeting show, we talked a little bit about this where I said I think he's going to be in the top 10 at Frisco. And seeing what the weather's doing, I was already thinking he learned so much from last weekend, and he looked so good then. All those nerves are gone. A1 itself, just being, Angel Stadium, Anaheim, the opening round, there's so much build-up and hype to that. That's past him, right? Like, you get through that, now it's like, okay, you take a breath. So I think he was already going to be better and pushing for a top 10. Now you add in ruts. That will change the whoops, which are his Achilles heel right now. Just doesn't have enough time or experience on him. He said in a post-race interview that they just kept changing. He goes, I was used to the test tracks that were always the same, and these went from round and pretty easy to now they got a square edge, and then they got rutted. And he goes, then that got like, how they get that little double hump in them from the dirt that gets kicked back, and then you can't jump because it kind of goes bop. You see their bikes kind of do a little chop in the middle. He just couldn't figure out what to do. He's like, I don't know what to do. Yeah. And I don't think we're going to have that problem. They're going to probably be a big rut through the middle that you either just sort of trail ride through or you hop through.
Yeah.
And this guy, you're talking about a motocross world champion, he can ride the ruts and the soft.
Really good. So he's definitely going to be my pick.
And he's a starter. I mean, this dude whole shots like everything.
And as everyone knows, a mud race, that's one of the most important things is getting a good start. Staying clean and... Yeah,
listen, depending on what the track ends up shaping out like, I don't want to sound like a lunatic here. I could see him on the podium.
Me too.
Like, I'm surprising I'm saying that, but I could see him on the podium. It wouldn't stun me. But here's another guy, Dylan Ferrandis. He was fifth last weekend. French, loves the mud.
Loves it.
Yeah.
So
I could see him up there. We already talked about Webb. Justin Barsha loves the soft. Gosh. Right? So all of a sudden, you start adding them up. Justin Cooper is good in it. Eli Tomac. I mean, you going to count Eli out? I mean, he always comes back strong from a bad result. I think he's pretty disappointed with how Anaheim went. I think we're going to see a whole new Eli Tomac. Maybe not. Maybe I'm overhyping it and he'll take some time and build slowly, but I don't know, man. What do you think?
Man, I just think this could just really totally turn this whole, here we're, you never know, Ping.
Yeah.
It could go like, okay, is this just going to be the Jet, Anderson, Sexton, Webb show all season? This could totally turn everything around.
It totally could.
You could get Prado, Barsha. I mean, it
could be a completely different top three.
Yeah.
And what about Ken Roxon? We haven't talked about him. Great.
Ken's really good in the mud.
So is Malcolm Stewart. He had a bad round, but he could be up there. So we're talking about all of these riders that weren't even in the top 5 last week that could be your new podium.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
So we don't know. We don't know what it's going to do. It may be, maybe it just sprinkles a little. Maybe it's not even any big deal. But I'm looking at this weather going, all right, 60% chance of rain. Like that usually means,
especially for that area, San Francisco. I think it's happening.
It's going to happen. It's just how much and how bad and when, right? Because if they get through the day, even I've seen this happen so many times. They get through qualifying and everything, and then skies open up, and the night shows are a mess, right?
Yeah.
So we'll see. If you had to pick a top 3, who do you go with right now?
So I'm gonna do Prado
to win.
Yes.
Oh man.
I'm doing Prado to win. Anderson second, because the thing that makes Anderson really good in the mud is how loose that guy can be on the motorcycle.
Okay.
So that's important in the mud because obviously the bike's wanting to track all over the place, and so if he could just stay his normal loose riding style, I feel like he could do really good. And then I'm going to go with Cooper third.
Okay. That's a solid grouping. I'm going to pick Cooper Webb to win.
Okay.
I think that he's so good at finding lines late in a race. And a soft track gets so beat up and chewed up, that creativity is going to pay off. That's my 2 cents. So I think you got Cooper Webb with the win. I think Jed will figure out how to get to second. And he'll be angry about it, but he'll get a second. And I've got Prado in third. That's probably, I can't believe I'm saying it. It seems crazy, but I think it's a possibility. All right, who knows?
Yeah.
But thank you guys for tuning in. I want to thank our sponsors one more time. Really appreciate Maxxis Tires coming on board. And Rock and Turf, if you guys are looking for any concrete work, some artificial turf, these guys are awesome. Check them out online. Rock and Turf on Instagram or rock-turf.com if you're looking at them online. We appreciate their support. Appreciate you guys swinging by. As always, come back Monday for Riders Meeting, where we'll break down everything we see over the weekend at San Francisco. And then every Thursday, we're dropping right here on Site Lap, getting you guys hyped up, giving you a little insight of what you're going to see on the weekend. Thanks for watching. See you next week.